everyone, this is your Tiny Coder back again with another coding session. This session is a continuation of our previous session, which was an introduction to sockets. Yes, so this session, guys, we're gonna create a chat application with Python and sockets. So before we go on to making it, first I'll show you guys the three different types of communications. So the first one, guys, is Simplex Communication. So it's basically a server here, and then there's a client. So what happens is that the server is kind of like the talker, so he will always keep on talking, and the client is kind of like the receiver, and he will just keep on receiving messages, but he can't send it. So you can see it's just one way, and that's why it's called Simplex Communication. So that's our first type, guys. Now let's see our second type. So our second type, guys, is half duplex communication. So here we have our server, and then here's the client. So kind of like our simplex communication, you can see that arrow 1 is pointing from server to client, but then arrow 2 is also pointing from client to server. So what does this mean? Well, so it's kind of a simplex communication that keeps on going back and forth. So first the server sends to client, and then the client sends to server after that, and vice versa. And this just keeps on going on, guys. And an example of this is kind of like a chess game, right? Sometimes it is like the black is having his own turn, and he will make a move, and you can see that also when that happens, the white is just seeing what move the black is doing, and then after that, the white will have his own turn, and the black will see white's turn. So you can see that this is kind of related to a chess game. Great, so that's what it was, guys. Now I will show you guys the full duplex communication, which is actually what our chat application is going to be. So here we have our server again, and sorry, it's the server, and here is the client. So there is a two-sided arrow, but what this basically means is that, you know, the server and the client, both of them are talkers and listeners, meaning that they both can talk whenever they want, and that is kind of like what we want our chat application to be, right? We can send messages whenever we want, and we can receive it whenever we want. What I mean is that is what our chat application is. So a full duplex communication is kind of like the chat application we're going to make today. So this is our third type, guys. Now let's hop on right into coding. Great, so I'll just open this up. Great. So I have this open, guys. Now first I'll make the server, and then after that I'll make the client. So here I'll just say import socket, import socket. After this, I'll just say I'm just importing all my modules, guys, and I'll just say from tkinter import star. So we're gonna use sockets, threading, and tkinter for this. So I'll also say import threading, just for now. Or actually, we don't need threading here, but we will need it as we move on. So that's what it is here, guys. So here we don't need threading, but we will need it later on. So there, now what I'll do is first let's start off with our UI. So what I'll say is I'll just say root is equal to tk, and here I'll just create an entry box by saying e1 is equal to entry of root. So make that entry box. So now what I'll do is I'll just say e1 dot grid, and I'll say row equals 0, column equals 0. Great. Now what I'll do is I'll make another variable, and I'll just say SB is equal to button. And inside that, what I'll say is row, comma, and then I'll just say text is equal to send, comma, and this will actually be kept later, but it is the command function. So the command is kind of used for kind of just running functions with the button. So that's what I have there. And then I'll just say sv.grid, and I'll just say row is equal to 1, column is equal to 0. Sorry, column equals 0. Great. So now I'll just run my program. And oh, sorry, I forgot to do root.main loop. Great. So I'll just run this, guys, and sorry, there's a TK application here, guys. So I'll just bring it here. So I will just bring it there. 1 second. Great. So this is what we have here, guys, and this is our application. You can't really see it right now, it's very little, but this is what it is. I'll just zoom out. So you can see that there's already an entry box, and then we have send. So this is kind of like what we're going to have, guys, and I'll just keep in, before I do anything, I'll just say root.geometry, I'll say 300x300, just so that we can see it a little bigger. So you can see that this is what it is, and it's actually much bigger. Now we can kind of see it. So there's the entry box, and then we have our send button right there. So currently, if I just type anything and click on send, nothing is really happening right now. And in fact, there's no communication. There's no client, right? So that is what I'll be creating next. So I'm done with this. Now let's do the client side of it. So here, I'll just say import socket, and actually no, I can just copy and paste the code from here to there. Yeah, so I've done that, but I'll also be using threading for the client, so I'll just say import thread. Great. So currently there's nothing with threads right now, so there's nothing happening. So I'll just run the client now, and I will drag it to the screen in a second. Yeah, great. So you can see that there's the TK application here for the client, and again here, send, nothing is happening. So we have created our UIs, guys. So now the next part is the server and client communication. So that's what we'll be doing next. So first, I'll say host is equal to blank port equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll just do basic socket communication. So I'll just say socket.socket. And here I'll just say socket.af_enum, comma, and I'll say socket.sock_stream. Yes, great. So that's what we have there. And now I'll just say s.bind, and here in double tuples I'll say host, comma, port. Great. So we're done with that. Now I'll just print the message saying socket is binding to host and port. Great. So we're done with that, guys. Now what I'll do is I'll say backlog is equal to 5, and then later on I'll say s.listen, and here inside I'll just say backlog. Great. Sorry. So backlog. Great. So I'm just listening to it, guys. Now what I'll do is, again, I'll just print a message. Socket is listening. So that's done. So what I've done here, guys, is I've just created my socket, and I've just bind it to my socket here, and now I'm just listening if any clients come in here. So that's what I have. And I'll just say CONN, comma, error is equal to S, sorry, it is S dot accept, sorry, accept, yes, S dot accept. So what I'm doing here is, if any clients come, the first thing they'll do with the connection is they'll ask if the server will deny or accept the connection. So I'm just accepting it for now, and I'll just say print connected. Right, so that's done. And this is just, I've just created it for the server, guys. I'll create it for the client as well, because the server really can't do anything without the client. So I will do the same thing, but for the client, it will be much shorter. So we'll just say host is equal to, and in quotes, I'll say local host. Yes, so if you guys don't remember, last session I told you guys that if you're using the same computer for your communication just for test purpose, then you will always say host is local host. And however, if you are using it with a different computer, then you will keep in the IP address of that computer. And you can simply do that by going to CMD, and then you can just type IP config, and then you'll get your IP address out of that. So great, that's what we have. And I'll just say port is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, done. Okay, and I'll just create the socket, so I'll just say S is equal to socket.socket. Actually no, I can just copy and paste the parts that we actually have the same. So I'll just do that. And now I will connect from the client to the server, so I'll just say s.connect. S.connect. And here, again, double tuples, host, comma, port, as before we had. So that's done. And now I'll just run it, but currently nothing will happen. So we are done with that. Now all we gotta do is do the main connection and communication. And also, just one more thing. After this, I'll just say, just so that we can close the connection when we are done with making the application, I'll just say conn.close here. And here I'll say s.close. Great, done. So we are done with that, guys. So we are done with the socket and the tkinter. Now, I'll just do the main functionality. I'll just run this socket program. Currently it says socket is binding to host and port, and socket is listening. So that's fine. But here I'll just say Python client underscore chat underscore py. So great, this is what's there, guys. I'll just click enter, and you can see that the connection is working right now. So we have two TKs, however we cannot find out which one is which. I'll just drag both of them there. So that's the first one, and this is the second one. But we can't really identify which one is server and client. Just a small issue, we can fix it. I'll just say root.title server. And here also I'll say root.title client. Great, done. So I will just close all windows. Great. So we have created our socket and tkinter, but currently the whole thing does not have any functionality. Again, I'll run it again just so that you guys can see it. So great, now you can, I'll just drag the client here, and I will also drag the server. 1 second. Great. So the server and client are here, guys. However, if I say okay, hi, here. Nothing is happening really, right? So the solution for that, guys, is actually because we don't have any functionality. And just so you remember, earlier I said that in the button, we're going to keep a command which runs a function. So here, what I'll do is I'll just say define send, and here, what I will do is I will say var1 is equal to e1.get. So all I'm doing here is you can see that there's e1 here, and you can clearly see that this is highlighted in blue, and that's the entry box. So the entry box is basically that small white space in where I can type everything. So it just fetches the data from that box, and I've stored it in var1. And what I'll do is I'll just say conn.send. conn.send, and here I'll say var1.encode. var1.encode. So this is what it does, guys. It just basically sends the message to the client. And here I'll say define recv and define recv. Great. So this is our sending function here, guys. And since I said that this is going to be a simplex communication that we're going to start off with, what I'm doing here is I'm just going to send from server, meaning that the server will keep on sending and the client will keep on listening. Yeah. So what I'll do is for that, I will just say data is equal to s.recv. I'll say 1024, which is just the buffer size, decode UTF-8. Great, so UTF-8 is just my decoding, and I'll just Control Z. Great. So I've done that. So I'll just say print server send, and here I'll just say comma data. It's comma data. So I'm done with this, guys. What I'll do is I'll run the code. Okay, socket is listening, cool. But if I do this, however, what happens here is that I do get a client, and I'll also click on the server and get that here. So if I say hi, just something, if I click on send, now, okay, it sends it, but it clearly does not print anything. So that is the problem, and it's supposed to print the server said, comma, hi, right? So I'll just say close all windows. And the reason why is because what happens here is, first of all, we're not using the command. I'll say command equals, I'll say recv. So first of all, it's not even receiving. But the main reason is that what happens is, the main buffer size. If I say hi, it's still not receiving. Why? Because what happens is that whenever this happens, the data, it just basically does this forever, meaning that the whole main loop will just go like that. But the problem is that it keeps on searching for a message, and it's actually not successfully doing that. So that is the main thing. And I'll just say comma command is equal to send. Sorry, I forgot that as well. So now I hope that everything does work. Sorry for all the issues. Okay, server has come up again. Client has also come up. I'll just say hi. Send. Still nothing. Why? Command is send. Command is recv. But this is just forever doing it. And the main problem is that this also interrupts the whole system. So since that's the main problem, what I'm going to do is first close all windows. And this is where the threading comes in. So what I will say is after I'm done with all of this, I'll just say thread1 is equal to threading dot thread, and I'll just say target is equal to recv. Great. So what threading basically does is that it does multitasking, you know? So it's basically multitasking in Python. It does the receiving, and at the same time it basically also does this whole system. You know, it does not really end up putting out any errors. So that's why we're doing this. And I'll just say thread1.start, and usually I would do thread1.join, but that's simultaneous, right? That's not really threading. That's not what threading is really used for. So that's why I would not prefer to do thread1.join out there. Because what thread1.join does is that it just waits for this thing to get complete. But this thing will never get complete till the connection stops. So I'll just do that on this. Great. So I hope that now everything works, guys. I have my client there, and sorry for that. I'll just go here, server chat, and I'll say server, and I'll drag that as well. I'll also say client. I'll say client, 1 second. I'm just dragging the client. Great. So I have my server and client here. If I say hi, send it, you can see that here it says server said hi. So the whole communication is going on great right now, guys. And currently this does not have any functionality, but there's a reason why it's not working, and it is all because of the whole thing that it's a simplex communication. 1 second, I'll just stop this. Okay, so as I said, this was simplex communication, so the client cannot respond to the server. And this is the thing about simplex communication, and this is actually part 1 of our chat application. Next video, guys, I'm gonna make this into full duplex communication, so then the client can chat and the server can chat as well. So till then, see you later!